What's up, y'all? It's your man, Derek Andre, and you're watching Who is Derek Andre TV. And today, on Totally Disgusted, I'd like to tell you why I really love the show Abbott Elementary. This is Totally Disgusted with your host, Derek Andre. All right, y'all, what's going on? It's your man, Derek Andre, and you're watching Who is Derek Andre TV. And today I want to talk about why I give the show Abbott Elementary an A+. So I'm a 70s baby. I was born in 1970. And so I came up watching sitcoms. I watched shows like Good Times and All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, Maude. You know, stuff like that, man. We had What's Happening. We had all kinds of really great shows in the 70s. And then in the 80s, we had like The Cosby Show. We had A Different World. We had stuff like Martin, which came like, you know, later in the 90s. And it was always really, really, really good sitcoms to watch on television. And if you like dramas, there were good dramas as well. But television back then, in my opinion, was really good. It was really good. It was entertaining. They had actual actors. They had studio audiences where, you know, you could actually hear people laughing uncontrollably. Television between the 70s and the early 90s was amazing. Now, enter the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, with the introduction of shows like The Real World. As groundbreaking as The Real World was, I think The Real World completely ruined what was once good television. The Real World came out, The Real World came out officially in 1992. The Real World came out in 1992. And that, I think, in my opinion, was the beginning of the end of really good television, and particularly sitcoms. Enter Abbott Elementary. Now, I'm skipping some stuff because I'm not going to keep y'all long. I know it's Labor Day, and happy Labor Day to you, but I'm not going to keep y'all long. But enter a show like Abbott Elementary. This show for me, as I sit here wearing the shirt that my daughter made for me while she was in elementary school, my youngest daughter. For me, Abbott Elementary is a true breath of fresh air in otherwise stale television programming. Now, I had heard about Abbott Elementary a while back, but I didn't have Hulu and I don't watch regular television, so I had never seen it, all right? So just recently, I went ahead and subscribed to Hulu specifically to watch Abbott Elementary. And I know they got a new season coming out in October. I think it'll be their 5th season. I didn't binge watch it, but I watched every single episode. And when I tell you, every single episode warmed my heart. Every last one of them. I watched every episode from the pilot all the way to the last episode before this new season begins. And when I tell you, It was an amazing, amazing, amazing series. Here's the cast. Let me show you the cast of players in Abbott Elementary, just in case. This is one of the things one of the reasons that I do really, really love the show. Now here's the cast. Look at the cast. Look at the cast of people in Abbott Elementary. This is what television should look like. This is what television should look like. It should be a melting pot of talented people. This is what television should look like. This cast is amazing. Everybody in the show does a great job, and they're believable. They're honest in their acting. Everything feels sincere. Nothing feels forced. You know how you watch some shows and they try to force the humor? I don't get that watching Abbott Elementary. Quinta Brunson is already hilarious to me with her little teeny tiny self. But her role as Janine, she literally embodies what it means to be an elementary school teacher. If she was never ever a teacher in her life, you wouldn't know it. I don't think she's ever taught a class in her life. She would not know it. You would not know it, because she makes you feel like she is an elementary school teacher. The same with Tyler James. All of them, man. All of these different actors. Janelle James, the one that plays Ava. Oh my God. The whole cast. Every single person. Shirley Ralph. William Stanford Davis, who plays Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson's character is so hilarious to me because he is anything but a janitor. When he starts telling these stories about all the stuff that he's done and places that he's been and people that he knows, it is a hit. I want more television like Abbott Elementary. We need more television like Abbott Elementary. We need more shows that have a completely diverse cast. We need more shows that show people actually working together. They all have their differences. They all be, reeling on Janine and talking about her because, she's short and all this other stuff and how she dresses. But it all works. And when the chips fall, they all come together as a team. The children in the sitcom, I don't know how they managed to do it. I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, is this a real school day? Like straight up, they have like legit classrooms filled with kids. I'm like, is this a real school day? It makes you feel like you are immersed in elementary school all over again. I like how at the end of each season, they go on a field trip. I think that is freaking amazing. And they go on like real field trips. They go to like real places in Philadelphia. They do like real stuff. Everything about that show is what I miss about regular television. Everything about that show is what I miss about regular television. There's not a bunch of profanity. You know what I mean? It's a very wholesome show. Back in the day when you used to watch television, yeah, They had shows like this, and they also had shows that were, New York Undercover that was real gritty and all. But that's what we miss in today's society and entertainment. We miss the balance. I don't think entertainment as a whole in present day gives us balance. I feel like every single thing that you watch on television or at the movies or watch streaming through Netflix, everything is geared towards drama and anger and pain and hostility. That's not every day of everybody's life. Yes, people go through pain and drama and but when you watch a show, when you watch a series of shows, all the shows shouldn't just be drama and arguing and fighting and bickering and name calling and drink throwing. It's hard to go through all these reality shows. That's all they are. They get a group of people together. They give them alcohol. They build these divides between them. And then the producers just sit back and watch them fight. Watch them argue. Watch them call each other names. Watch them tear up people's establishments. Watch them give terrible reputations to certain groups of people. I hated the show Atlanta Housewives. I'm sorry. It was a show full of beautiful sisters that they allowed and encouraged to act like animals. The way they talked to each other, the way they treated each other. And I could probably deal with an Atlanta Housewives if there was something to balance it out. But every single reality show is the same overall concept. The same cattiness, the same bitterness, the same bickering. That's not what we need to see. And then when you have young people who watch these shows, the same way when we came up watching The Cosby Show and watching Different World and all this, that the same way those shows inspired us to want to be radio show hosts, owners of a magazine, attorneys, doctors, just professionals and girlfriends. Those shows encouraged us to be better versions of ourselves. I saw a story about Maxine Shaw from Girlfriends, Erica Alexander. And they were talking about how many people were affected by the Maxine Shaw effect, which means that all these sisters became lawyers because of her on that show. So if a positive show can have that impact on young people as they get older, what do you think negative shows, reality shows of people fighting and arguing, what impact do you think that's having on young minds? All of this stuff is by design. I get it. If you can keep folks fighting, you can misdirect and you can do all kind. If you could just keep the divide, I get it. But I don't like it. And so when I watched the show, Abbott Elementary, I would sit there and I would just be in awe. It was an emotional, and I mean that. It was an emotional experience for me because it made me feel like this is what people are actually like. I know they're all actors. I know that this is just a television show. But it made me think of my elementary school days. It made me think of the times when my children were in elementary school because I was an active parent. I went to PTA meetings and I showed up for the events. We went to the school plays. We did that kind of stuff. From elementary school all the way through high school. We went to all the sporting events. We did those things. So this show For me, it's like, yeah, show this to people. Show this to people. Show a cast of actors and actresses that look like this. Show this to people. Show this to people. This is who we are. All of these actors and actresses are amazing. Each one plays their part perfectly. And even when they be calling themselves kind of bickering back and forth, it's never like, I hate you. I don't like you. You make me. Although Jacob and Mr. Morton, yeah, they don't like each other, but they're slowly becoming. They're becoming friends. They're warming up to each other. You know what I'm saying? But bring back more of this. Bring back more of this. Show this to young people. Bring back shows that show people enjoying each other's company, that learn how to work together. One of the best parts about the show is the fact that Janine always looks for a way to solve a problem for those kids at that school. Always. It doesn't matter what is going on. It doesn't matter if they need books. It doesn't matter if they need, stuff in the cafeteria, new scoreboard. It doesn't matter if they're trying to go on a field trip. She always finds a way to make it work. And then they all find a way to work together to make it work. Another thing that I enjoy about the show Abbott Elementary is the courtship between Gregory and Janine. The innocence of it. The I like her and she likes him dynamic. They kind of like each other, they're firm, but the time was never right, and this, that, and the other. And every episode, I found myself rooting for them to get together. I found myself rooting for Mr. Gregory Eddy to just say, Janine, I want to be with you. This show for me is a breath of fresh air. It is a true breath of fresh air. There's another show that I'm currently watching on Hulu called Woke. It's from 2020. That's another show that is a breath of fresh air. Now, the language is a little more salty in Woke, but the show itself is a really, really good show overall. Let me pull it up so I can tell you the characters in the show. So here it is right here. Let me pull this up real quick. Hang on. Let me switch between this. So this show, let me pull that up. Hold on, your browser. Switch between here and there. This show is another really, really good show. Woke. I don't know if you all have seen it or not. If you have not, this is a show that you need to add to your must-stream list. So this show, the premise of this show is Keith Knight. He's the main character. He's a cartoonist, all right? And so he kind of lives in this world where he knows that, like, racism and all of this stuff exists, but he hasn't really, like, firsthand experienced it. He sees it and he knows about it. He knows that all of these things are happening, but he hasn't actually experienced it. So one day he's out hanging up flyers for the cartoon that he works, trying to promote his brand. And while he's hanging up these flyers, he's got a stapler in his hand. The police tackle him because it was a mistaken identity. And from that point on, he begins to down this path of wokeness because he's experienced racism firsthand, he's like, yo, he doesn't want to be this person, but everything about his life is forcing him to become this woke individual. And he's learning how to navigate being woke in corporate America and in the professional world because he's an artist. So he's trying to... It's a great show. We need more shows like this, man. I know I sound like a broken record. I know I do. But the shows that I grew up with molded me. Yes, it's the same with music. Yes, we had some. I'm like I said, I was born in '70, so I came up through NWA and all of that kind. Yes, we had some straight gangster type music going on, but we also had balance. We had balance in the things that we listened to. So yeah, you might have a song that's talking about drug dealing and shooting cats in the street and calling women out their name, but on the flip side of that, you had love songs of people that were truly, in love. They were talking about courting and being in love and dating and asking a woman out and complimenting her and things like that. You had the balance. And so I think currently with music and movies and television and all these streaming shows, I think we lack balance, especially for people that look like me. I don't think we have the balance that is necessary, especially for our kids. When my daughters and my son were younger, I was very particular about what they watched because I know how things can influence young minds. I told you when you think about the Cosby Show and you think about Different World and all that, those shows encouraged young black kids to want to go to college. It encouraged them to want to get a degree, to learn more, to become something. So if that's the effect positivity has on young minds, what effect do you think negativity has on young minds? What do you think a reality show has on a young mind? If they're arguing and fighting and calling each other out of their names. There was another reality show that I wanted to watch so bad. It was Black Ink. I wanted to watch that show, but I could not get beyond all the bickering and the arguing. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Derek, that's real life. I know that's real life. There's a lot of things that are real life, but that don't mean that you have to consume it through the media all day, every day, and poison your mind with it. Just like there's negative stuff in real life, there's positive stuff in real life too. Show the balance. Show the balance. Don't make it one-sided to where all you see is this. All you see is the negative. Bring back the joy and the fun, man. That show and all of this whole episode started from Abbott Elementary. I am so looking forward to season number 5 of Abbott Elementary. It's a great show. The actors and actresses are all amazing in the show and outside of the show. It is something that a show that you could sit down and just enjoy. It was like the show, y'all remember the show My Wife and Kids with Damon Wayans and Tisha Campbell? That's another show that I don't think got quite the recognition it deserved for being as amazing as it was. It's it's kind of sad that in order for you to really get good programming and to watch some really great shows, you kind of got to go back. But now I start to understand why old people, you used to go to your grandmother's house, your grandparents' house, and they be in there watching TV shows from 50 years ago. You'd be like, wow, all of this modern stuff. Why are you watching, Little House on the Prairie? That ain't 50. Well, it actually is almost 50 years ago because that was during my era. But they would go back and be watching like old Westerns. And they'd be like, why are y'all watching this? But now I understand. As a man who's almost 55 years old, I completely and wholeheartedly understand why people go back and they watch shows from their past. Because the nostalgia of watching a show that made you feel good, it's kind of hard to beat. How long of a shelf life do you think a show like Atlanta Housewives is going to have? You think that's going to age well in 30 years? You think people in 15 years, 10 years? You think people are going to be like, oh, I need to go back and watch when Phaedra and so-and-so was... That's not going to age well. Because it shows the worst of us. I don't want to be a part of things that show the worst of us. Because enough people, enough parts of society already thrive on showing the worst of us. I don't want that. I want the best of us to be shown. I want people to understand that we live in a very diverse society, that we live in a loving society, a society where if we work together, we can accomplish things. And I think so much of the media likes to pretend like that's not true when it is. You can watch the news on every channel all day, every day, and they're going to show you all the horrible stuff that's going on in the world. And if you get caught up in the moment, you'll begin to think that, oh my God, this world that we live in is freaking horrible. It sucks, man. I hate this world. Everybody's angry. Everything's a scam. But do you realize that there are more good things that go on in this world than there are bad things? Just, I know we forget that, but that's true. There are more good people in this world than there are bad ones. But we get so inundated with all of this negativity that we have a tendency to forget just how neighborly people can be. How kind people can be if you're in need. Yes, you can't walk through the world with blinders on and think everybody's going to be your friend. You still have to move with a degree of caution. But truth be told, there are more good people in this world than there are bad people. My son has traveled to 30 countries. 30 countries. And people would ask me, man, how do you feel about, your son traveling to all of these different faraway places? How do you feel about, about Derek being all over here? I'm like, listen, I'm not going to instill fear into him. I've taught him to be aware of his surroundings, to pay attention, to not only watch, but listen. And I have to trust that the majority of the good people in the world are the ones that he's going to come in contact with. Has he had some pretty interesting situations? Yes. You can't visit 30 countries and not have interesting situations. But you can also have interesting and scary situations in the very country that you live in. There are more good people in the world, y'all, than there are bad people. They just are. I mean, and so when you watch shows, when you watch television, when you listen to music, you know, you can't let one show or one song or one thing influence you so deeply that you forget about all the other greatness that exists in the world. That's why I like Abbott Elementary. That's why I like shows like that, man, because it 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 gives you a breath of fresh air. One thing I said I was going to do with this podcast is I was not going to spend every episode talking about, oh, Donald Trump this and the Republican Party that and the war here and the war there. Yes, I know all that stuff exists. And I promise to God, I am very well aware, and I do keep up, and I do make sure that I am not, yes, yeah, I'm on top of all of that. But because everybody else is talking about it, there has to be some place that people can go to unwind. There has to be a place that people can go and be like, you know what? That was good. I enjoyed that. That made me smile. There has to be a place where people can go. And I want to be one of those places. I want to be to podcast what Abbott Elementary is to television. I want to be that one of those places where you can come and be like, you know what? He's a good dude. I do. I want the best for the world that we live in. I want the best for society. And so I try to talk about things that I believe will bring out the best in people. I talk about relationships and family and love and understanding and being at peace and following your dreams and trying to become the best version of yourself. Because I think that's what the world needs. I don't think the world needs another person screaming at the camera and pointing their finger and calling people out of their names and arguing and yelling and fussing. I just think that's counterproductive. Do I think that those things need to be addressed? Of course, negative stuff needs to be addressed. It has to be addressed. And there will come a time on this show where I will address certain things. But I don't want that to be my only platform. I want there to be balance. I want there to be balance. I want people to come here and be like, you know what? All right. What are we talking about today? Oh, okay, we're talking about, what this, okay. Oh, yeah. We need to find the good in society. And Abbott Elementary, and I know I know you probably think, dude, it's just a show, but it's a good show. And it really, there's not many things that I will sit down and watch all of. There's just not, even when I was a filmmaker, I would watch a movie from here and there, but Abbott Elementary really touched me. My daughters and I and my wife, there's a series on my channel called Hamster Parenting Academy. So I don't have no film crew and all that other stuff. So it was me, my two daughters, and my wife. I had a GoPro and a cell phone. And we had a little Kia Soul. And I shot 7 episodes of a very family-friendly show about me and my wife and my daughter, teaching my daughters how to drive. That was the whole premise of the show. And each episode was like maybe 22 minutes, somewhere in there. It was a good show because I wanted to show that you can film things about family and about stuff like that is wholesome, that is loving, that is caring, the whole 9 yards. It was a good show. I wanted my daughters to say, okay, you know what? This was fun. I want to do it again. I want to hang out with my dad and, it was fun. And that's what I think we need more of. And I think a lot of times we get hung up in a lot of the BS in life. But yeah, This is the series, Hamster Parenting Academy. It was just us. Wholesome. Good-natured fun. A man, his wife, and his 2 daughters. All right, y'all. I ain't going to keep bending y'all ear, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a favorite show that's out right now that you think would be interesting for people to watch, by all means, put it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. Let people know what a good show is that they can watch. A good show that promotes decency and happiness and fun and joy and love. We got enough negativity out there, y'all. I ain't really trying to promote negativity. I wanna know what's good. So let me know. Let me know in the comments what your favorite show is that's currently out streaming right now, or if it's on television. Let me know what your favorite show is and why. All right. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for stopping by. If you'd like, I would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and the reminder bell so you never have to miss another video. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you very much for taking the time to listen to me run my mouth for a little while today. All right. Be sure to check out my website, DerekAndre.com. You can support the channel in numerous ways if you're interested. It's a great little space. There's t-shirt, books, and stuff like that. Also, if you look at the look at the bottom underneath my video, there's links to my t-shirt shops and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to support a brother, that's a great way to do it. Right? If you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. I'd love to. And also check out my new website, The Black Arts. All right. TheBlackArts.com, and it is a great website where I think if you're a black artist and you want to learn more about, or if you're not a black artist and you want to learn more about black artists, this is a great place to check it out. You know, I got a whole lot of different categories. I got photographers, artists, musicians, poets, spoken word artists, authors, filmmakers, designers, stylists, choreographers, all of that. And each page has links. All right, every page has a link, and it'll take you to this person's corresponding website. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you want to learn more about different artists and things like that, then by all means check out theblackarts.com. I think you will enjoy it. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all I got for today. Thank you very much for checking me out. I hope that you'll come back. Tomorrow I start my new job, so I may not be doing daily episodes. It just kind of depends on how my days go. But on my days off, I will definitely be making sure that I have new episodes uploaded. And if you haven't listened to some of the previous episodes, go check those out. I love y'all, man. Be peace, be love, be one. And I will see you guys in the next video, all right? Be sure to tell a friend. All right, I love y'all. Now I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Totally Disgusted. Make sure to like, comment, and tell a friend.